You can do this. You can do anything.
I know.
I would say that I started with the original Wizard of Oz book by Baum. I wanted to, kind of dive deep into what was the origination of this idea and of this story. There were iconic images that kept coming from the 1930s film. And I knew that I wanted to grab hold of some of those icons and then reinterpret them for a more up-to-date way that I wanted to tell the story, so that I could figure out a way to appeal to a more modern audience.
After you, Madame. Let's see. Pink goes good with green.
Goes well with green.
It so does.
I aligned Elphaba and grounded her character with nature. Looking at the underside of mushrooms and taking what those textures are, looking at bark, because her color palette is mostly black, it was the perfect use of texture to then make black more interesting and have depth, and creating an organic quality in her clothing that just made her more interesting. And then with Glinda, I wanted to align her with all things that were effervescent and airborne and decorative and light and appear to be beautiful, appear to be lovely, because that is a major part of how she presents herself and her character. The very sheerest of chiffons and reflective satin finishes. All of those are to be reflective of what comes off as a very frivolous girl, but then changes into someone who has great depth and has got a huge heart. I would say size and scope and scale, the same muscles are still in operation. I'm still defining character as clearly as possible as it relates to how the director wants to tell the story. I'm also acknowledging the actor that is playing the role and making sure that it is in step with how they want to play the role. Also, I can be more specific about how the detail is done because it's actually going to be seen. So it's more imperative for those to be as perfect as possible. For me, it's always making choices that are appropriate for the character and how to underscore the personality of the character, and then also allude to some feeling that I'm trying to give for a moment. I was absolutely blown away and so proud of the work that we had done, that everyone had done, because it was a collective of the amazing artisans and tailors and dressmakers and milliners and shoemakers and jewelry makers, just everyone together, coming together to create this story and this idea that I had envisioned. I got very emotional as I was leaving because we had been living in anticipation of it, and it just paid off, tenfold.